Hi Kia listeners, let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton, welcome to the podcast. Hope you come and visit me at Instagram or Twitter or Facebook at Let's Learn Sumo. Let's have a look at how much sumo are paid today. Well, the top ranks, they get paid quite a bit when you add it all up. Now we know there are different divisions and ranks from Makuuchi or Makuuchi down to Jonodan as the lowest division. And within Makuuchi, the top division, we know there are different ranks. But it's only the top two divisions that get a monthly wage from the Japan Sumo Association, Makuuchi and Juryo. Now the name Juryo comes from the amount that they used to be paid, Ju being the number for 10. Now lower ranked wrestlers, obviously supported by their heia, their stable, they get a small living allowance. Now it's a fairly small allowance on top of their lodging and their food support at the stable. And remember, they live there, they train there, and they eat at the stable. So let's look at the basic wages for each of the Rishiki divisions. So Juryo, the lower division, or second division, they get about 1.1 million yen a month. Now that works out at $6,700 odd, say $7,000 US a month. That works out to a bit over $7,000 a month for a Juryo wrestler, a second division wrestler. A Megashira wrestler, one who's just in the ranks, they get about 1.4 million yen, so about 13,000 US, little bit over maybe 14,000 Canadian, and around the same, maybe a tiny bit more in Australian dollars. Komusubi, so the first of the ranks in the Makuuchi division, they get about 1.8 million yen, and so do the Sekiwake. So 1.8 million, which is about 12,000 US a month. Australian dollars, that's maybe just under $18,000 Canadian. You work that out at 9,000 Canadian dollars to the million yen. Ozekis, they get a little bit of a jump up when they get promoted to Ozeki. That's 2.5 million yen per month, which is quite a lift. At about 18,000 US dollars a month. And Yokozuna, well, they're on 3 million yen per month, which works out to close to $20,000 a month. Now, if you win the basho, you win the tournament, that's a $10 million lift for you just in prize money there, which is a tidy win. Now, in addition, Sekitori wrestlers also get a bonus to their income, which is a cumulative or a building bonus based on their winning and promotion records throughout the tournaments. Now, it's called the Mochi Kyukin, or its salary holdings or possession wages. Now, that starts at a 3 yen amount. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but I'll go further into it. It's a complex formula. Now, each kachikoshi, or winning record, they get half a yen. Now, they actually get more for a better record. So a 9 and 6 record, they get 1.5 yen. Now, the minimum values are 40 yen for Juryo, 60 yen for Makuuchi, 100 yen for Ozeki, and 150 yen for Yokozuna. Now, I said it's a fairly complex formula. It is based on their winning records. It's also based on beating senior wrestlers, and they don't actually get deductions from that Mochi Kyukin for losing. If they win a basho, if they win the tournament, if they get a perfect score, or if they get a gold star win, a kinboshi against the Yokozuna, that can add almost 240,000 yen per year to their salary. Now, at the end of the tournament, this yen amount is then multiplied by a predefined number to give the distributed money bonus, and they get that money bonus 6 times a year. That's after every tournament. Now, that number has been about 4,000 since 1998. So if they have for an Ozeki rank and they have the minimum of 100 yen, well, that is multiplied by 4,000 to give their yen amount that they get 6 times a year as a bonus. Now, obviously, getting to Ozeki, you might have beaten some Yokozuna, you may have had Kachikoshi and some good records to get you to that point. So 100 yen is probably a fairly conservative number for what they would otherwise have. A top yokozuna like Hakuho had accounts of over 1,000 yen, which corresponded to an annual income of around 24 million yen per year bonus, and that's a bit under $200,000 US on top of his wages, his prize money, and sponsorships. Now let's talk about sponsorships. Each bout you'll see in the top ranks, they give out the envelope. We've talked about this before. It's got an amount in there for a sponsorship. Now each envelope has about 30,000 yen, which in Australian dollars, it's a bit about $350 in each envelope, a little bit less in US and Canadian. The minimum sponsorship amount per bout is 70,000 yen, so that works out to maybe $700-800. Now, out of that amount, obviously certain number of sponsors want to sponsor a bout, and there's multiple sponsors. Each time you see a flag, that's a different sponsor. So you might have a big bundle of envelopes at the end, which means a big pile of sponsorship money, obviously in excess of the 70,000 yen for that bout. Now the JSA, the Japanese Sumo Association, they take about 10,000 yen out of that, and half of the remaining usually goes to the heya or the stable of the winning wrestler, and the rest goes to the sumo. So they can take a fairly tidy living. But remember, with all that money, when they get to the top level, and there's only a certain amount that make it that far, with this comes a very lower average life expectancy, a high risk of diabetes, heart disease, liver disease, they do like a beer, our sumo, knee, hip and back problems, and a fairly brutal and disciplined lifestyle from teenagehood up to adulthood. Now, it's not until you reach those higher levels of sumo that you even get to live away from your stable in your own apartment. Can you do it? I don't know. Either way, it's not a bad wage when they get to that top level. And obviously, if you make it to Yokozuna, there's some big financial rewards there. So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoy your sumo in this break between the bashos. We look forward to November coming. I hope you'll join us for the Bunsuke when that comes out in early November. And then we'll do a preview episode as we get close to the tournament. Hakioi listeners, let's learn sumo.